up, everybody? Sifu Singh here. I'm out here on the beautiful island of Oahu in Hawaii. That's the backdrop of Waikiki and Diamond Head. It's a beautiful place. We've had a lot of questions that come up from the internet with regards to people asking questions to the Budo Brothers, Black Belt Magazine, Masters Magazine, and one of the big things that always comes up is how to deal with a punch, right? So this video is going to be all about talking about what is the defensive tactics, what is the maneuvering, how do we deal with punches, what are the different kinds of punches, what are the scenarios you could be in. So when we start to think about dealing with a punch, we have to first start dealing with distance, and we have to deal with emotions. So before you even get into a punching range, you have to understand what's going on before. So oftentimes whenever I get into discussing a video or a specific tactic with regards to dealing with a punch, dealing with a takedown or a knife attack, the most important thing is let's avoid the situation altogether in the first place. How did you get in there? 90% of all things can be stopped by weaponizing your awareness and being aware of what's going on around you at all times. But what ends up happening is we get stuck in our minds, we get stuck on a project, we get stuck thinking, we get stuck worrying, we get stuck being obsessive over things we need to get done. We rush a lot in our lives and we miss the opportunities to intercept situations, and then we find ourselves in positions. So the first and foremost thing always is going to be your awareness, and 360 degrees around you, not just in front of you but behind you. And that takes developing stillness and developing the idea of the observer and walking around with the observer. And I don't mean with the observer that you walk around paranoid that, oh my God, this fight can happen, somebody to attack me. No, you want to live from the point of view of an observer, because when you live from the point of view of an observer, you're aware of everything around you 360 degrees, and you are able to respond instead of react. You're able to alter the future instead of be caught in a present moment, or furthermore, even worse, reacting to something that's happened that you aren't aware of. So that's the first place we always have to start, is with presence. We have to start with awareness. We have to start by knowing who's around us at all times and try to avoid situations. If you are aware and you see somebody walking with their posture, how they're walking, are they angry? Cross the street, okay? Don't go that way, go a different way. Don't take the long way home in an alley. Don't be in a bar at the end of the night when everybody's drunk. Don't go next to the guy who's aggressive. Don't get pissed off if somebody rubs your shoulder the wrong way. If somebody's looking at you bad, smile back and walk away. I mean, that's the most important thing that you have to understand, is because avoiding violence, the art of fighting without fighting, is above everything. So remember that and stick with me as we come back to take a look at if you do find yourself in a situation where you can't avoid a punch, because guess what? There are times we have to fight. You know when they say they talk about a peaceful man and they talk about a warrior? I would rather be a warrior that has the ability to become violent and I choose to be peaceful than to be somebody that's quote unquote a peaceful person and does not know how to raise the level of violence when it's needed. All right, let's take a look at how to stop a punch. Okay, Officer Darrell Burton, can I borrow you, sir? All right, so first and foremost, when you're looking at somebody, they're gonna throw a punch at you. There's two things that are gonna happen. One, you're gonna get sucker punched. You didn't see it come, okay? So I'm over here, I'm talking to somebody here. Once again, my awareness is not about me, and boom, from this side comes a shot, and I'm in one of those situations. That's one kind of a punch that could happen. Another kind of a punch over here, Officer Burton, I'll demonstrate it to you. It's like a club punch, the good old haymaker. Just out of nowhere, somebody swings at you. Most of the times, people aren't going to swing at you for no reason. So you're there in that reason. You're involved in something that led to that punch. So those are two scenarios of like somebody throwing a haymaker, or you're not looking. Maybe your buddy over here is talking smack to this person over here, and you turned your back over here, and from the side a punch comes. So those are kind of scenarios of punches that can happen in a street fight. Then there's another scenario where, okay, we're in a fight, or we're in the ring, or we're on the street, whatever, and we're in a duel, and this guy takes a stance, right? He takes a stance. He's coming at me like that, take a stance. He takes a stance to throw a punch. Or he's walking up to me like, what's up? You see what I mean? He's coming at me like that. So that's the posturing. When he comes at me like that and we go, wait, what's up? They get into this kind of range. So if somebody's coming up at me like that, hey, I create space. And I bring my hands up and I create space. I create space, that's the most important thing. Then the next thing I see, where is he gonna lean towards? So for example, I'll approach Officer Burton and he's gonna create space. Like, hey, what's up? If you notice, Do you see how he bladed himself based on me? Because as I'm coming to you as the camera, I'm like, hey, what's up? But you see, I took my right hand is back, it's loaded, it's getting ready to swing. Most people can't swing from this position, okay? When they start approaching you, if they're just approaching you like this, they're coming to shove you. If they're approaching you and they drop the shoulder back like that and this kind of action starts to happen, they're gonna hit you. Or sometimes they're talking to you and they just very slowly start to be talking to you with their hands. They're talking with their hands. Sometimes they're really soft and sweet, but if you start to see them blade and drop the shoulder, that's the side the punch is coming from. Another cue you can pick up on is when you see somebody standing, most of the time, the person, whatever hand they are, is going to be leaning that way. It's longer, because that's the arm that they use. So if they're left-handed, you'll see the left hand's a little bit longer than the right hand. These are all little quick cues which your awareness has to be trained to pick up. If I see Officer Burton approach me like that, and then he kind of when he steps forward, he kind of blades himself. See, if he comes that way, he dropped his left hand shoulder back. So I kind of am going to be here like this. I'm going to have my hands up into space, but most importantly, I don't let Officer Burton come into the fighting measure, which is inside me. Because either he's going to punch or he tries to grab me. See, all these things, he's inside my range. So my range is determined by my Bill G. That's my range at full extension, is my finger jab. Okay? So that's, as he walks up to me, I'm starting to, hey, but I start to use my words. That's very important. So the moment he's coming, hey, stop right there. And I say it with aggression like I mean it. And now he makes the choice whether he wants to come forward or stop. So if he comes and he stops and he decides to come forward, hey, stop right there. And then he comes forward again, bang, I intercept. I'm going to intercept, finger straight in the eyes. I'm not going to wait to find out him throw a punch, him try to grab me, not going to happen. Another option, hey, stop right there, bang! Just go straight to the groin, and then I run. I just get away, leave. But sometimes, like I said, if you have a family with you, you can't leave. You can't call a friend. You got to handle the situation. So you have to be able to read the situation to develop, choose the proper amount of force that you're going to need to disable the opponent. But I don't want to find out how good he is. So that's one kind of common scenario in the street that you may see. A guy approaches you, he's about to punch you, he's about to grab you. It's all about distancing. Go for the 4 circles, the eyes, and go for the groin. Use your voice, use your hands. The next scenario is, okay, we're in a fight and he's got a stance. And now from here, what are the punches that somebody's going to throw me? He can throw a jab, he can throw a cross, he can throw a hand hook, he can throw a rear hook, he can throw a jab to the body, he can throw a cross to the body, there you go, a hook to the body, you can throw another hook to the body, you can throw an uppercut, you can throw an uppercut with the rear hand, you can throw an overhand, you can throw an overhand with the other side, boom. And then really more technical, he can throw a shovel hook to the body, boom, a shovel hook with the other side, boom. These are all the punches that are there. These are all the punches that you find with hands. So it doesn't matter what the style is. You see those in boxing because they work on their hands a lot. But the most common punches you're going to see is you're going to see either a jab, okay, or a cross, or a hook, a hooking motion. More importantly, you'll probably always see a hooking motion. We're just going to deal with these 3. You got to study the sweet science of boxing to figure out the rest of them. But these are the 3 most common things of how people approach. Okay, so now when we take a look at a jab, let's break down the jab. If you learn to defend against the jab, you can learn to defend against everything else because the jab is the fastest tool in empty hand combat. It's the fastest shot that goes out. So the first and foremost thing in defense, from a defensive perspective, for me, I have to manage the distance. So what I use to manage the distance is going to be my footwork. I'm never going to stand still. I'm always going to use my footwork and I'm going to move. Okay, so that means that my stance is very important. My stance is I just drop my body and now I'm loaded. Like if I was going to play basketball, I'm going to do a crossover, bang, bang, it's here. See, that's the athletic stance. It's not here. Again, when I play basketball, if you look at where my head position goes, bang, bang, I'm here. If I'm playing football, I'm here. My head moves and my feet move and my hands move. That's athleticism. It's the same thing that we have to use here. So if he throws a jab to me, sometimes people teach go jab, stop it with your hand. So that's a catch. It's a parry. okay? Those kinds of ideas. So that you're using my hand. He goes, I catch it, or I parry it, right? So I'm using just my hand. Some systems and styles go jab, we'll choose a blocking motion. That's fine too. But the idea is that's just relying on the hand. Other option is just to use your feet. He jabs, and I just get out of the way. You move your feet, he jabs, and I get out of the way. He jabs, and I get out of the way. And I use my feet to manage the distance. Another option is the head, okay? He jabs, and I just move my head out of the way. He jabs, and I move my head out of the way. He jabs, and I move my head out of the way. The idea is that we need to use all three. We have to use our feet, our head, and our arms together as one unit. That's very important. So if you back up there and watch me here, let me show you a good drill for you to do. So if you see, I'm here, and I bring my hand here, and I put my hands here, and it's kind of like I'm putting on a cape over the top, and now I lower my stance because I need muscle irradiation. I need to react with the ground to be able to move athletically. Next, I need my hands and my head to be able to move as one unit. Not this way. Okay, see, that's just my hands. That's just my feet, sorry. Not this way. That's just my hands. Not this way. That's just my torso and my head. It's not enough. We need to use all three so the body moves as one unit. So here's a good drill you can do. So you just slide up one, but if you notice when I slide up, look at my hands. They move, see? They move. They don't stay like this. They move. So they're just moving, but they don't leave the center line. Here's one thing with the hands. Oftentimes you see people take this look, this look, this look. But if you see this hand over here, this is coming from a pure boxing. Here's your L structure, okay? Like a Mayweather for the Philly shell, okay? Here's a little bit more Tyson, a little more peekaboo. He's kind of over here like that with his gloves, okay? But sometimes you see people with their hands straight up here. Other times you see them here and here. See this rear hand, when it's on the corner, that's coming from a boxing structure. So you have to imagine that there's a glove that comes out this far. That closes this line. Then I have another person wearing a glove. They have very little space to get through, so then the glove acts as part of the defense. But on the street, I need this here in the center line because I don't have that space from the glove that straight jab can come through. I need to have this hand right here on the center line, protecting my eyes, protecting my face. This protects everything down the center. Officer Burton, if the fastest shot is the jab, go. My hand's already there. If it's over here, go. I'm trying to parry it. So if he parries, okay, so parry me, Officer Burton. See, he parries, then I just come around and I can just hit him right around. Because I've gotten him used to parrying. So if I get him used to parrying, I run the hand. Because his hand goes here. So if his hand goes here, I run it around and he gets caught. But if he keeps his hand in the center, boom, boom, and I run it around, he can easily pick up that. Because what's the fastest shot? The fastest shot is the straight shot right down the center. See, if his hand is in the center, he barely needs to move it. You see what I mean? Because it's on the line. If it's right there, boom, he barely needs to move it. If his hand is over here, or take that there, okay, block it. You see, I still touch him. Now when that happens to him, I can just come right around so that hand gets caught. So we have to have this structure of this hand right here. Next, I got to tuck my chin and then putting this shoulder up here to close this guard. And this is the position that I want to be in. The next thing too, when I'm in this kind of a position, I'm also ready for shoots and takedowns and everything. And I'm in like this shell, but I'm coiled like a tiger, like a cobra. From downside, my legs move and pounce like a tiger, but my back is like the hood of a cobra. That's like the position that I want to be in. If we don't have these things right, the doors are open. If the doors are open, you could be attacked, right? Then you're trying to close them. I already want to close the doors, so make it harder on him. If my center line is closed, he has to go around. So go ahead, he has to go around, right? So then if he sees that, boom, bang, then I know that's his only place to go and I can pick it up. So first thing is a tight defense, all right? So that comes down to your stance. Next from here, I am in perpetual motion. That's the thing. As I'm moving, and I move from my hips. If I move forward, back, left, right, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving. And as I move, I'm always covering. And when you move, you shift your weight When my head goes to this side, it loads this side so I can pivot 45. If I want to go that way, I load this side, come back to the center. I go forward, back, 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 to the left, to the right, back. So it's this kind of an idea of being able to learn to move and take some practice, but have a good strong base. So we say, in Tai Chi, we say, the legs are like a mountain. The waist is like water. And the base and stability of the mountain. And the hands are like clouds. So the hands are like clouds, the waist is like water, and the legs are like a mountain. All right, let's continue on. So when we're dealing with punches, we have to understand timing. So we had our stance. We had the ability to control distance, because that's with your footwork. And remember, your footwork, your trunk, or your core, and your head all have to move as one unit connected to the ground. So that's your footwork controls the distance controls the timing. The footwork also controls your reaction with the ground and your ability to shift the energy from the ground through your hips out to your own punches. So it develops your power and speed come from your footwork and the ground reaction, as well as your control of time by your control of distance comes from footwork. That's why footwork is king. Footwork is like they call it ring generalship in boxing. It's your ability to control the ring, be the general of time and space is what we're looking to do. So you can't practice footwork enough. We were just talking earlier. With regards to footwork, the reason why nobody practices footwork, they want to get right into punching. The punching is, that's later. Most important is I don't want to get hit. And then I want to learn the reaction force from the ground to come back up, so that when I do hit, I hit with thunder in my hands. There's power in my hands. You see, that's very important. There's speed like lightning in my hands. But all that comes from footwork and the control of the body and the muscle coordination and what we call muscle irradiation, which is the ability to fire all the muscles, engage them from your feet all the way up your legs, through your glutes, through your lats, out your arms in a very relaxed fashion, and so it all moves as one part. That's the mastery, and that takes forever. So you can take a jab and you'll never get to the top level of a jab, because you can always refine that process of who is jabbing. That's very important, okay? So Officer Burton, let's take a look at the 3 times. When he goes to give me a jab, boom, there, see, his hand goes back. So he goes again, his hand goes back, I follow back, okay? That's after. Jab, his hand goes back, I follow back, that's after. Jab, his hands goes back, I follow back, that's an after response, okay? Because remember, what I'm going to teach you is counter-attacking. My defense is my offense, but I have to understand the times. Then the next thing is when he goes to jab, go super slow, sir, and lock it out. Boom! This is the same time. So I hit him at the same time that his hand is extended out. I hit him. That's the same time. See that again? That's the same time. Go again. That's the same time. A destruction. Go again. Slam! So see, I'm guiding his hand into the tip of my elbow. That's a destruction. Go again. I'm destroying the brachial nerve here. That's at the same time, okay? Jab again, that's the same time with the Bill G. Go again, that's the same time with the kick. Go again, that's the same time to the body. Go again, same time to the groin. So that's, whatever options you're gonna choose, you can choose, but you gotta understand the time of when to execute them. So first there was the after, I slip out of the way, I can come back. Same time, okay? Same time, okay? Same time, that's a cross. If you see that, I slipped this one here and I crossed over. That's why it's called a cross. Super slow, boom. This is why this is called a cross, because I'm crossing over his arm. Don't move. This is just a straight left, okay? What makes this a cross is, jab please, I've slipped and I've crossed over at the same time. That's why it's called a cross, because it's crossing over his line. Okay, so there's those times. Then the best time of all, before. Okay, ready? I just go. I see him think, boom, and I go. But if you notice, this hand stays here. It's not like I go like that, and then he can hit me at some time. So the idea is, when you're ready, ready? As he moves, I go, okay? Go. As he moves, I go. As he moves, I go. Before he can even move around, feed me, bang, bang. You see, there's the idea. If you notice, his punch didn't get to develop. I parried and I hit at the same time. That's an interception, okay? Move around. That's after. There, he's getting ready. That's an interception with the leg obstruction. A G-tech, it's an interception. But if you notice, I'm playing the time. So now he's just gonna give me jabs, and I'll show you different moves that I've showed earlier, but see how I play them with the times. Okay, ready, sir? So most important is my movement. There's a destruction. Same time. There's an interception. There's an interception. There's an after. But look how much I'm moving. I'm the matador, man. I'm pulling him in. I'm drawing him in. I'm not afraid to be hit. If I'm afraid to be hit, it's going to look like this. Because I'm worried about what he's going to do to me. And most of the time that ends up happening because I'm not controlling time. That means if I'm like this, and I'm not moving, see, there, see, now he's moving around, see, now I start to chase his hands, and then I start getting popped. But I control him by controlling distance, by controlling time. Ready? Try now. Hop, 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 hop. There's a destruction. There's a destruction. Same time. Same time. Before. See, that's the idea. So what we want to do is we have to be able to implement our art. So I know there's many people watching this from many different arts. And the beautiful thing is just understand the time of when to use your art. Because there'll be times when your art will be more effective than other arts against other arts. It's just a puzzle. It's not about which art is better. That's like a useless conversation that we got to throw away. It's you, the practitioner, man, the living being, the creating individual is far more important than any style or system. So what are you doing to make yourself better so that you can create on the spot, adapt on the spot, connect on the spot, create on the spot? I mean, that's why it's called art, right? Otherwise it's just fighting. So bring the you into it, but to do that, you got to understand, know yourself and know your enemy, then you're sure to succeed. Know yourself, don't know your enemy, 50-50. Don't know yourself and don't know your enemy, you're doomed to fail, man. So that's the idea that we got to look at over here, is understanding time and space, controlling that with your footwork and your stance. Then you can express your art, whatever it is. Whether you like to strike the eyes, whether you like to destroy the limbs, whether you like to take out the legs, whether you like to kick, punch, grapple, whatever you like to do, you'll be able to implement it in time and space. The highest levels of martial arts are not about the techniques and the strategies. They're about the person executing them. And the person executing them is not who you think you are. It's the observer that is the master of time and space.